Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials on any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devops.school.com.
So in the first session, we had just had a look at what we are going to cover in this training. And we had in detail, these are the topics which we are going to cover. And at a high level, we thought we'll first go with the um, Istio introduction, then the environment setup, architecture, traffic management, resilience, security, and in the end, we will look at telemetry and observability. And on a detailed level, what all topics, granular level, we are going to cover was these. So in today's session, what I'm going to cover is Ingress Gateway HTTP, Ingress Gateway HTTP TLS, Ingress Gateway MTLS with Cipher suits and TLS version. Partially, we are going to cover virtual service. Then we are going to cover fault injection, request timeout, and traffic mirroring. So this is my agenda for today, and we are hopefully everybody will be able to do their hands-on exercise as well on all these topics. So today's agenda is ingress gateways plus virtual service and fault injection, request timeout, and traffic mirroring. Okay, so I'm going to close this agenda which we discussed earlier. Okay. So I know that most of you guys are already aware about Istio, and you had a basic knowledge, and you basically wanted to um, go one level further, right? So I'll still have a small, very quick view of Istio architecture for you guys, just as a refresh if you already know then also. So in Istio, what we basically have is there are two things. One is the control plane, one is known as the data plane. In control plane, there is a single pod now, which is called as Istio-D. So earlier, before 1.6 and until 1.5 Istio, we used to have multiple pods, as in a separate pod for pilot, separate pod for Citadel, separate pod for galley. But from the version 1.6, they had actually created this monolith pod with all three together um, to reduce the complexity of the installing of Istio and stuff like that. So as of today, in control plane, you will find only one Istio-D. Internally, there is a pilot, Citadel, and galley running there. Then you have in the data plane, you basically have the Envoy proxy. Envoy proxy is basically what to say, the heart of everything. So Envoy proxy was made by Lyft, and then later on it was contributed as an open source. It is written in C and it is very fast. That's why we are using Envoy proxy because for a proxy you need the efficiency, as in it shouldn't increase the latency. And one of the features of Envoy proxy is that only that it doesn't it does everything without adding much of latency in your network. So what happens is from control plane, basically we enforce policies, we enforce security policies, or anything which you are enforcing, it finally gets applied to the proxies. So these proxies usually run as a sidecar with your pod or as a gateway. So this is in a nutshell what we see in Istio. Further, I'll just show a normal use case for Istio. Just a second, let me share this diagram as well. So in an enterprise, usually what you will see is you have a workload running where you have lots of pods and lots of services. These are the Kubernetes services which you will see. And for these Kubernetes services, when we say Kubernetes service, I mean to say that these are either a cluster IP service or a headless service. These are Kubernetes objects which are there. And this workload currently is within the cluster, It is not exposed to the external cluster. So anything from outside, if you want to access these services, they are not available. So usually you expose these services using an ingress gateway, a virtual service, and the virtual service finally routing the traffic to an actual service. And then actual service is related to n number of pods. Similarly, whenever the one of the pod
Sorry to
wants
interrupt.
to basically call an external service,
Sorry to
usually
interrupt.
admin will disable that. So by default, from a Kubernetes cluster, your pod will not be allowed to connect to any external service or anything. So to do that, what you have to do is usually we enforce egress gateway. So in that, the pod has to communicate via a dedicated gateway, which will be allowed to connect to the. Okay, somebody saying sorry to interrupt. Tell me, Arun.
It's audible, Nitin. Hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, in the default Kubernetes objects, we won't use virtual service, right? We will use ingress, like HA proxy or Nginx or some other load balancers we will use, but we won't use virtual services, right?
No, no. Virtual service I have written is the Istio component.
Okay. So ingress is also the Istio component.
Yes, virtual service is an Istio component. We will
Ingress,
just see
ingress.
quickly. Um, I just wanted to have you a picture of where these objects are actually going to be used. So that's why I was showing this diagram first.
No, actually, we have persons, Balaji, Digambar, they are new. We know few components, but they are new. So you just touch base architecture in detail. Then we can go with cluster specific. Uh,
Okay, fine.
yeah. So
Right.
we need to understand what is a Citadel, what will Citadel will do, Pilot will do. So can you
Okay.
give
Currently,
more?
that is not required. So in today, whatever we are going to cover, we don't have to know about what Citadel is doing, what Galley is doing, what Pilot is doing. Anyway, they
Okay.
are kind of what to say. They're encapsulated capabilities. We will see what they're doing, but as of today,
Okay.
we don't have to go inside them. But what I'll show through this diagram itself, I'll show you. So usually in Istio, as I showed, in the data plane, we have the Istio, the Envoy proxy, which is the heart of everything. So this Envoy proxy, as you know, there are two types of proxy usually you deal with. One is called as the.
Hey viewers, our Master in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Forward proxy and one is the reverse proxy. So Envoy can be used both as a forward proxy as well as a reverse proxy, and we use it as a sidecar. When we say as a sidecar means your actual pod, actual container is running, and along with that container, an extra container, this Istio, I mean the Envoy proxy will be installed within your pod. So every traffic which is coming into the pod and going outside the pod goes via this Envoy proxy. Okay, so using this Envoy proxy only, we are able to do whatever Istio capabilities we are trying to achieve. So this Envoy proxy, as you know, is installed along with the pod. There are two ways. I mean, apart from this, with the actual pod, you have proxy at two other levels. We call them that this proxy is running at edge. So when we say at edge, it means either at the ingress or at egress. Ingress is any traffic which is coming inside the cluster. So for that, we use ingress gateway. So ingress gateway is an Istio proxy, the Envoy proxy or Istio proxy, whatever you call it, that runs on the edge of your cluster, which is taking all the inbound traffic. So this is first component which you have to deal with whenever you're traffic is coming inside the cluster. So then you have an egress gateway. Egress gateway is again a separate component of Istio, which again runs on the edge, as in it runs on the edge in a way that it sends whatever traffic has to go outside the cluster, it has to go via the egress gateway. We will enforce such policies so that every outbound request goes via egress gateway. So these are the two edge proxies, we call them. And within the pod, you can have a sidecar proxy, which will be running within your pod. So two ways your Istio proxy is running. One is as a sidecar within your pod and at the edge, which is the egress gateway and ingress gateway. Okay, so this is about the Istio proxy. Now let's first drill down into what do we have in Istio. What I want you guys is, do we have already a Kubernetes cluster with you guys available?
Yeah.
Where we are going to do all the hands-on and everything.
No, we don't have a demo session.
Okay. No. Then how are we going to try the use cases which we are going to try today? So everybody has at least Minikube in their local.
Then we can spin up new
Yeah,
server.
Nitin, like once this session is done, I think we'll be able to set up that. Like we had that before, but now we don't have it ready.
Okay, now the problem is that I have planned the session in a way because I was told that we're already well versed with Kubernetes, and in Istio also we have the basic knowledge, and then we have to go to the next level. So this was the discussion we had on the first day. So I was thinking that at least the Kubernetes cluster will be there, at least a Minikube installation.
So when we say hands-on, like we have Kubernetes set up in our production environment and your non-prod, and we do work on that. Like when we were learning initially this Kubernetes cluster and all, we had the setup on our own. So using KubeADM, we did all the setup, but now we don't have it ready.
Okay, no problem.
Maybe for the tomorrow,
This whole session is. So the whole session is more about hands-on. We will cover less theory and more hands-on. So that's how I had planned it. So we will definitely need a Minikube. So what we will do is we'll spend the first 15 minutes then setting up Minikube, if you guys can do it immediately.
how many master and minions required?
Sorry?
No, how many masters and minions required? You required
No,
only
no,
one
nothing
cluster?
is required. Just a single node cluster is enough. So if you have it anywhere, whether it is on cloud or on your on-premise, whether you have a Minikube in your local, everything is fine for me. We just have to, because I had to demo first the Istio installation, and that can only be done when you have a Kubernetes cluster, right?
Then we can spin up from the AWS.
No, anywhere I'm fine. Minikube is easy to install. I'm not sure if you guys have tried. So in local, you can have a Minikube installation. So let me just ping you this link. Just open this and it will take only 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes to spin this up.
Yeah, we'll try that, Nitin.
Where is the chat in this one?
I'm using Office laptop. We can't try this.
Or I'll just show them and you guys can try later then.
Yeah, that's better. You just continue today's session, Nitin. Then tomorrow we will come back with we will take the action items and we'll come back.
Fine then. So I'll continue with the, but fine. Let us see how it goes.
Nitin, just give 5 minutes, so I'll just try that.
Nitin, this demo will be.
Okay, your voice is breaking, whoever is trying to speak.
Digambar. You are installing in your laptop, personal laptop, Vijay?
Yeah, Arun.
So in today's lab, actually, we have all this which we have to cover. So we have ingress gateways of MTLS, TLS, and all these things which we have to cover. So this, me doing in front of you, that is fine. But I think the original plan was that in the session, then you are also able to do it on your own.
That makes sense. Okay, you just give us another 5-10 minutes.
Sure.
Okay,
so
that means we are covering all the hands-on session in minikube only, right? Not in actual cluster environment.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
So it doesn't make any difference actually. So you
And
come.
one more thing, Nitin. I think anyone facing like no voice is little bit fibbling, right? Like whenever speaking. Anyone facing that issue?
No.
Hello.
No, Murali, not me, but Digambar is facing that, I think.
Even I'm facing.
You're clear, like your voice is audible, but not Digambar's one.
No. I mean Nitin. I mean Nitin voice is fibbling whenever he's trying to communicate.
No, we don't. I mean, I don't feel that.
No, we can't hear Digambar.
Well, my internet connection is good only. I've just checked the speed.
No,
It is
your
almost
voice is clear. Then only Digambar voice is not clear.
Digambar voice. Nitin, one doubt, Nitin.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said that components in that architecture, right? Can you go to this draw.io?
Mm-hmm. Tell me. Sorry.
In the draw.io.
Oh, draw.io. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, in this you said that Istio can be integrated as an ingress gateway, egress gateway, or as a sidecar, right?
Correct. Usually, yes. So that's how you use it.
Okay. Means these three components are mandatory, or if we use the sidecar, this all the proxies, rules, and all can be integrated over there, and without ingress or egress.
Yes, nothing is mandatory here. I'm just saying here that the Envoy proxy, which is heart of Kubernetes, can run at these places as an edge proxy. Edge proxy means at ingress and egress points, and as sidecars.
Okay. Arun, in our architecture, do we have we have all these three, right, Arun?
Yeah. We have ingress, egress, virtual service.
Okay.
It's there.
And sidecar also is there, right?
Yeah. Sidecar is there.
Okay.
Something to cover this in today's session. It will be clear to you once we do the exercise.
Yeah, Nitin, please go ahead.
Okay, so meanwhile, so currently the latest version is 1.8.1. So I've just downloaded this from the Istio.io, and you guys can also download the latest version. So what I wanted to show you guys is what all comes within the Istio download which you get. So the main thing which you get in the Istio download is if you go inside bin, you will find something called Istioctl. Istioctl is binary which we use for most of our tasks which we'll do with Istio. So it runs on top of kubectl. So underneath it is going to use some kubectl command only, and to whichever cluster your basically the kubectl is pointing to, it is going to use the same configuration. So Istioctl we are going to use right from installation to debugging to everything. most of the things we do using Istio. So this is most important stuff which we get. Then we have so till the version 1.6, Istio used to give all the add-ons as part of the release itself. What that means is all the components like Kiali, Prometheus, Grafana, they all used to come along with the release. But from 1.7 release itself, they have removed that from the Istio installation. So now if you install Istio, you are only going to get three things: Istio daemon, uh, Istio discovery, whatever you call it, which is containing your Citadel, your pilot, and galley. And then you will have ingress and egress. So you'll find only these three pods. You will not find any Kiali or your Prometheus, etc. But to help us, they have put under samples. If you go inside samples, you'll find something called as add-ons. So they have given us these YAML files, which we can use using the kubectl create command or apply command, whichever you use. We can install Kiali, Prometheus, Jaeger, Grafana, whatever we want using this. But these will not be part of Istio installation. So this is a strategic decision which was taken. So after 1.6, these are not part of Istio installation. And anyway, these are separate open source projects, so they're not managed by Istio. That's why Istio has removed it from the installation. So apart from that, then you have manifests. So under manifests, what you will see is the Helm charts. So under charts, you have Helm charts with which you can install Istio. That is one way of installing Istio. Another way of installing Istio is using Istioctl itself, using the profiles. So here you have different profiles. So let me just open demo profile, which we are going to use. Demo.yaml. So this is how the installation file will look like. So good thing is that whether you're using your Helm charts or you are using Istioctl, the installation will be almost same. There is not much difference between which method you are using. And interestingly, Helm has come back in 1.8 only in our current release. Till the previous release, Istio had removed Helm support because Helm was using Tiller and there were some security concerns, because of which they had removed it. But since Helm 3, Istio has brought back the Helm support. So now you can use Helm charts to install Istio, but it will support only Helm 3.1 and later. So you must have Helm 3.1 or later to install Istio using the Helm chart.
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Anyway, so this is the Istio operator. This is what gets created. So in whether you are using Helm chart or Istioctl, you will get an Istio operator installed. Mesh config is the mesh level configs. So from here you basically take care of configurations like this access log files. This is for access logs, as in every request in Istio proxy will get logged if you have set this value to std out. If you remove it, then the inbound outbound traffic will not be logged in the Istio proxy. So we will be using this demo file only so that the access log is enabled. Then comes the components. So we have egress gateways, ingress gateways. Then we will have egress gateway, remote. Pilot is important. We cannot remove it. So this is what we will get. So even I have not run Minikube. I thought I will start with you guys itself.
Let it come. Meanwhile, can you go to this draw.io, Nitin?
Yeah. Just a second. Wait, my laptop is hung actually. Yes, tell me.
So actually, we have default ingress object is there, right, in Kubernetes. Why we are going with this additional layer? Can you touch base on that?
Okay, fine. So there are multiple ways with which you can expose your service to external people. As in, this service, the moment you create the service, it is accessible within the cluster. So this pod can use this service and call this pod, the service running in this pod and all. It is possible, but anything external will not be able to access the service. Now, if an external agent has to access this service, whether it is some client or browser or whatever, then you have to expose this service, right? So to expose the service, you have multiple ways to do that. So for example, the ingress object, as you said, the Kubernetes ingress object is there. I think that runs on Nginx. That can be used. If you are using OpenShift instead of Kubernetes, then in OpenShift, they give routes so that routes can be used. That is an OpenShift object. And then third thing is Istio capability. So in Istio, we are using Envoy proxy. With the Envoy proxy, we can use the ingress gateway. So it's up to you whether you want to use the Kubernetes ingress, whether you want to use OpenShift routes, whether you want to use your ingress gateway, or you can even use directly. You can what to say the this service, if you create of type node port, you will be able to expose it using node itself directly, which is not recommended at all, but just saying that. So these are the ways you can expose your service to the external world. But Istio's ingress gateway are preferred because they give us a lot of functionalities, which we will see in a minute, as in how we can easily configure an MTLS within the ingress gateway, and how we can associate that with a virtual service and do all the routing stuff and etc.
Okay.
So we get a lot of functionalities if we go with the ingress gateway provided by Istio rather than using the Kubernetes ingress.
Okay. So I can understand in such a way that Kubernetes having default node port load balancer services, but it's ingress, it's a additional layer, right? Compared to node port and the load balancer.
So
But we
ingress
can't.
is again, so ingress is a separate Kubernetes object also, but that
Correct.
ingress is different from the ingress gateway I have written here. So this
Correct.
ingress gateway, I'm saying Istio ingress gateway.
No, just to understand myself, I'm Kubernetes. In Kubernetes objects, we have node port. If I'm going with the one-to-one mapping, I'm not having a major setup or multiple pods or multiple namespaces. I can go with a node port. If I am having enhancing scaling my architecture, then I can use the load balancer. Even though it's a one, I can use only one load balancer or two load balancers. Again, it's cost involved.
Correct.
If I'm enhancing furthermore with multiple services, if I have some 5 namespace and 5 projects, then I'm going with the ingress specific to Kubernetes object for the HA proxy. But again, I'm enhancing furthermore, then only we need this Istio coming in picture, then we are going with the ingress gateway. This is
No,
the
slightly
enhancement.
wrong. Slightly wrong. That we are not going to use the Kubernetes ingress at all now.
No.
Since we are using the Istio
No.
ingress.
I understood we are not going to use here, but why can't we use ingress with the Kubernetes object? Why we need the service mesh? Now, just to take this comparison, because everyone is using the service mesh. Why we already we have this feature, right? Ingress is there. Then why we need Istio? Can you explain?
Yeah, so for that only, we will see that there are a lot of features provided by Istio which are not provided by your normal ingress, your normal Kubernetes ingress.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.